when you have the right systems and processes, you actually go from, okay, this business generates revenue and income and pays some bills to, oh, now we're really building an asset here, and then you're increasing the value of it.
There's a whole heap of systems out there if you're in business, and I would strongly encourage having something to manage your pipeline. Yeah, a spreadsheet will get you so far, and a bit of pen and a bit of paper and maybe calendar reminders, but you need something structured, because as your business scales, you don't want to try and put sticking plasters and be solving problems on the run. You want to manage your pipeline effectively, because I think that's one of the biggest areas where there's leakage.
They say that people don't run businesses, processes and systems do. And in today's episode, we're going to go through some of the systems that we see the aspirational and successful Kiwi business owners implement into their business to make running their business a whole lot smoother.
Oh, mate, what a great topic. We're getting back to some business fundamentals, but as you quite rightly say, it is the backbone of a well-run business is having the right systems and processes in there. Otherwise, you're just flying by the seat of your pants and just putting it out there to the gods, to your success. And I think we can really ratchet up the chances of things working in your favour if you've got the right systems and processes in place.
I think one of the most important reasons to even think about doing this too is something that you spend a lot of time advising people on, and that is the value of your business. So when you have the right systems and processes, you actually go from, okay, this business generates revenue and income and pays some bills to, oh, now we're really building an asset here, and then you're increasing the value of it. So that if someone wants to come along and buy it and they say, what systems do you have for this? What processes do you have? And you sort of go, oh, we just figure it out as we go. Your business isn't going to be as valuable.
Yeah, and that's probably struck a chord with a lot of the boomer-owned businesses, because looking under the hood of some of those, my word, the amount of businesses that I've looked at that are still paper-based,
really,
for some of their processes, and stuff just done on a handshake is just like, wow. Then the work and effort that's required for the purchaser to come in and then go, right, we need to now bring this up to the 21st century and start and put in some technology and systems and processes. It's a huge mountain to climb, because you're getting in trying to learn the business and then implement stuff at the same time. But it will pay dividends because it gives us data. There's nothing better than a little bit of data to help make sensible decisions.
Nice. Well, should we go through some of the main systems that we see business owners implementing, and then we can maybe unpack some of them? I mean, obviously it's going to vary business to business, industry to industry, but probably some of the core processes and systems would be worth thinking about having and really refining.
Great idea, and my brain went straight to unpacking it in a P&L format. So going from the top, what are we going to use to manage customers and sales? Then what are we going to use to manage our gross profit, because that's the most important thing, and then profit, that's accounting and tax related. And no doubt along the way, there might be a few other top tips and tricks from a couple of legends in the industry, Luke and Phil, of course. But at the top, sales and customers, you want something, I think, that's not only going to manage your existing customers and sending them invoices, but manage that pipeline. I mean, we've banged on about pipeline management so much in the last probably 3 to 6 months, and getting better visibility of your pipeline, because if you've got better visibility of the work that's in front of you, it gives you confidence today to make decisions for a better tomorrow. Sounds like a bit of corporate bingo lingo, but it works. Somebody had emailed us recently, I believe this week, and said, they've got forward work. I almost fell off my seat when I read this. You know what I'm referring to, 2027.
Yeah, mid-2027 as well.
Yeah, I'm just like, holy wowzers. Like, I want to get on the phone and talk to this person and go, what are you doing? What problems are you solving? Who are you doing work for? Like 2027, there's a lot of business owners that can't tell you what they're doing in 2 weeks' time, let alone in 3 years' time. So we used to work at another accounting firm, and they used some pipeline software called Pipedrive, something like that. That still seems to be quite common. From what I seem to recall, another one that a client uses. It's a HubDoc or HubSpot or something, yeah, HubSpot. And they use that for their pipeline visibility and just managing stuff. I think there's a whole heap of systems out there if you're in business, And when you're looking at, and I would strongly encourage having something to manage your pipeline. Yeah, a spreadsheet will get you so far, and a bit of pen and a bit of paper and maybe calendar reminders, but you need something structured, because as your business scales, you don't want to try and put sticking plasters and be solving problems on the run. You want to manage your pipeline effectively, because I think that's one of the biggest areas where there's leakage. And we talk about plugging holes, and you don't want to have two fingers trying to plug a hole. You just want to have that thing firmly sealed. And if we can keep more water in the bowl by protecting our pipeline and managing it more effectively, you're going to have a better business. And I think one of the weaknesses that Kiwis have is people will reach out to us, but we're really shit at the follow-up process of hustling, because I think we're too still scared of, oh, no. It's like, no, you're hungry. You're either going to get the work or you're not going to get the work. If you're not going to get it, cool, potentially not an ideal customer. Let's go and find our next yes and keep nurturing the people that are in the pipeline. And the systems that are out there, like Pipedrive and HubSpot or whatever the one that it was, have got a lot of automation in them. And we love a little bit of automation. And that was going to come back to that next point of going, rather than going and doing all the homework yourself, these problems have been solved by plenty of other business owners. Chuck a post on LinkedIn, phone a friend, ask other business owners, what are you doing, what do you like, what do you not like, and start and get some ideas, and then just take action and implement it.
Are you thinking about buying a business, or maybe getting yours values? At Next Advisory, we help you figure out what a business is really worth and guide you through a business purchase with confidence. Before you buy, visit nextadvisory.nz and book a time to have a chat with me.
Yeah, I guess if we think about we're trying to increase the value of our business, the way to think about it too is if a potential buyer of your business said to you, what's your process to bring in new work? And if you can't answer that, you probably have an issue with your sales process and your marketing process. So it's a good way as we go through all these things to think about, okay, can I actually answer that? And I think for a lot of people, they don't really know how they generate their work, or it's not something that is repeatable or that they're really in control of. But very quick tangent and funny story on this, we have a client who, the more that they go to a cafe, locally they get spotted more, which is because if you have more awareness, then eventually it will lead to sales.
Yeah.
They then end up quoting more work, and that leads to revenue, and that leads to profit. So I'm saying to them, you need to go to that cafe more.
Right.
Which they're very happy about, because they get to go there more times per day. I'm like, you need to sit there and actively spend time there because the process works.
Is this a story about you at Amano?
No, I haven't been to Amano for a long time. Actually,
It's been a while, ain't it?
Yeah.
You're loving the Takapuna life.
But I was thinking about Amano on the weekend. I'm going to be honest.
Look, I can't lie. Grace and I were out during the week, and Amano came up. I'm just like, should we go there for dinner?
Yeah.
We didn't. We did look. They were booked out, so couldn't go.
Still cranky by the sounds. Well done.
Yeah.
$12.80 for the avocado these days, I'd imagine.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah. And my next piece was going to be that sometimes these apps are where people get stuck, and we see this in the financial literacy space, or something changing with Xero, and people are going, oh, I've heard there's this app that integrates with this, and you go, what are you trying to achieve with it? Oh,
Yes.
X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, why don't you just do that rather than buying a new app, getting a new subscription? So sometimes it's as simple as actually just having a process that you follow. So it may be a lead came in, and then you write it down that you spoke to them, where it's at, and then you have a reminder to go back and follow them up. So you have to be careful, because I think we see this all the time, where we'll have business owners who are really good at using technology, and then others that they spend weeks implementing technology to then say, oh yeah, we did implement it. Okay, do you use it? Oh, nah.
Yeah.
We go, well, what was the point?
Yeah.
So there's a very big difference between getting the app and actually using it.
And the other point to add into there is that when you're looking at these systems and processes and the software, you need to be aware up front that it's not going to solve 100% of your problems. Like, you got to get near enough is good enough, and then put a sticking plaster or some kind of outside process wrapped around it to make sure that it works. So if it's doing 8 or 9 out of 10 things in your business, I reckon you're onto a winner.
Nice, yeah. And I think if we can all build ways that we know work to bring in our next sale, we feel so much more in control of our businesses. So you need to spend some time at that top level thinking, okay, what can we do that we know will move the needle of sales? Might be outreach, it might be flyers, might be Facebook ads, might be number of emails, might be ringing past customers, whatever that is, you've got to design ways to bring that in so that you get in control of it. Otherwise, you are just another one of these people that rolls around saying, oh yeah, economy's pretty cooked, I haven't had much inquiry, and you can't actually back it up by telling anyone what you've done to generate your own inquiry.
That's just some little bitch with excuses.
Oh!
And I think a really good example here is you've got to make the time, because this is working on your business time, because it's so easy just to go, in our world, I'll go and review another set of accounts. I'll go and dive deep into this next cash flow thing. But you go, right, we're actively engaging and working with people that are wanting problem solved. And I know twice a week, I've got a Trello board set up and I've got a number of active matters, and I'll go and look at it and go, right, has this changed from the beginning of the week to the end of the week? Do I need to do anything? And today I went through and there's a number of things on, email follow-up, text message follow-up, just to keep stuff ticking along.
Nice.
Emails comes out, a bit of advice went out, and it's a potential lead for another matter. So then it's just like, where are you guys at? And they're like, oh, yep, here's the update, da-da-da-da, we'll be back in touch. Like, great. So I know that I've got clarity that there's stuff still going on here, whereas if you go and nudge them once, twice, 3 times, you don't hear anything. It's just like, these guys are taking up bandwidth. Let's just move this and just take it off the radar now. And then I can just focus on the stuff that's actually still warm, plus our clients, and carry on. If they ultimately come back, we'll look at it then. But we've got limited bandwidth, and we need to make sure that we're making the most of the bandwidth that we've got.
I was talking to someone whose role is purely sales recently, and I was talking to them about what they were doing, and they were basically reviewing their sales calls to identify where they didn't follow the process.
Nice.
And then ruin the sale. And then comparing it to the top performers in the company and what they were doing in their calls, and making notes of, oh, well, that's where I go. But at that time, they go that way and they've got a higher close rate than me. I need to correct my process. And so I think we can, joke about processes being boring and all of that, but this is literally, the difference in some of this person keeping their role or not. So they have to learn to follow the process and stick to it. And then equally in the SME world, I was talking to a business owner who's getting out of sales, and now then they're watching their sales people and going, oh, like, not that at that point, we're not going to get the job anymore.
Yeah.
And so they've got to try and take what's in their head and teach it into a process, because they know that conversion can be X, Y, Z%. But if it's not there, then it's still the business owner's responsibility to train that salesperson and say, hey, when they said this, it would have been better to say this, or mention this, or be mindful not to say that. And so that can be very tricky to go, what the business owner thinks is normal or easy to them, how do I take that and turn it into a process? But people spend hours and hundreds of hours doing this to refine it, to then improve the conversion rate, to then guarantee, well, not guarantee, but improve the probability that they have the sale, to then make the marketing spend more efficient.
I am absolutely jazzed up listening to that. As soon as I heard conversion, I was just like, this is good, because that self-reflection piece is so underrated that people just would take it for granted. It's like, oh, nah, I go through the sales process, it's a no, I carry on. Like, we're working with clients that are going to have, they know they've got a conversion percentage of, say, 26%. So 26 out of every 100 appointments that they have, they will convert. They're trying to squeeze that, and squeeze it hard and fast. And for every percentage point that can get that up, and they're trying to get 30, 40, and ultimately to 50%, they're getting a better return on investment for their marketing spend. It's easier then to get sales confirmed, because you can go, right, for every 100 calls that are going to come in, we're now going to get 50, not 26. So that self-reflection piece and refining that sales process, there's a massive win there, rather than just trying to go after more of the same kind of people that you're not going to convert. And I think coming back to the systems and processes piece, a business is not going to have any idea of its conversion ratio or data unless you're tracking it. And I think the key there is implement the system, track who you're having calls and sending quotes to, and then go, what am I winning? What am I losing? One divided by the other is going to give you a ratio. And you need to track it. And you're going, okay, is it up or down? If it's going down, fuck, something's broken. If it's going up, great. Why? What am I doing that's going to make people more engaged. If it's staying stagnant, well, what can I be doing? And that's that self-reflection piece. I go, okay, we're at 25%. What can I be doing? What can I change my language? What are the things I can be saying to then give people the confidence to go, okay, let's now get this to 30%.
Well, speaking of measuring things, let's get into measuring the job that is done and your favorite gross profit. The number of clients that we work with that if we ask them, how much profit did you make on that job, pointing to a specific job, and they go, oh, about, and we go, oh, you don't know. No, we're keen on the exact profit margin or percentage or dollar amount. Oh, I would say it's, no, we want to know. And if a person buying your business was trying to figure out, okay, what are your most profitable items, services, or jobs that you've done? What are the margins in there? How come they differ? And you can't answer that. Instantly, you don't look as sophisticated as the person that goes, well, here's our job management system. And then also we can back cost things to then go and review. Did it go based on how we thought it was going to go? If not, what was the outlier in there? And were we able to recover that?
Oh, speaking my language, and it reminds me of a business that we once worked with in the trade space that wasn't doing terribly well. And there's exact conversations, and it was just like, do you know your gross profit? Yep. And there was just so much confidence. And I'm like, you need to go away. And they lacked systems. Apparently, I think stuff was done on spreadsheet or just pen and paper, where it was just some arbitrary numbers and just go, oh, yep, no, we're pricing jobs and this is how we're doing it. It's just like, you guys need to go away and actually check these numbers. Well, to their credit, they did. And then they came back a few weeks, a month or so later, and actually were just like, yeah, we're not making as much gross profit or charging as much as we should be. And it's just like, well, I hate to tell you, but I told you so. This business is not going to succeed or get into a better position until you address gross profit. And there was no formal or well-structured system in place to be able to log in a job and put in the specific details and then go, right, what's our estimated costs? What are our actual costs? Where are we winning? Where are we losing? What's the actual gross profit? And then have that, again, like the sales process, working on your business, that moment of reflection, whether you're doing it fortnightly, monthly, whatever it needs to be, to go, okay, what jobs have we worked on over this last month? What jobs have we made money on? What jobs have we lost money on? The ones that we've won the money on and improved gross profit, why? Where have the wins come from? The ones that we've done not so well on, why? And go, okay, how can we continuously, guys, Ian, hey, how good? How can we continuously improve this to make sure that we've got certainty over gross profit? Because coming back to selling or looking to buy a business, we're talking about systems and processes. It's managing risk for the purchaser, and we're de-risking it, which is going to give a purchaser more certainty in the process of buying in the business. So we've covered the pipeline piece. Gross profit. If gross profit is inconsistent for a purchaser or in your business, something's broken. There is something wrong there. I mean, yes, hospitality, for example, gross profit's going to be a real challenge because direct costs recently have been squeezed with wage pressure and food prices going through the roof. So you'd expect it to trend down, but where it's lumpy and going up and down, you're just like, well, why? For a purchaser, that create risk. So for a current business owner, if you've got a system to manage your jobs and track your gross profit and then actually do something about it, so you've got consistency, and again, are looking for those 1% and 2% gains, you're onto a winner.
It raises a good point. Even in that hospo space, a very sophisticated hospo business would be looking at their costs, their input costs, so that they can look and see, okay, what margin do we have in these products, and do we potentially need to then increase our sales price? If you're not doing that, then your gross profit can get squeezed, and then you get a reminder at year end when you didn't make as much money, and your accountant may say, oh, your gross profit decreased, and you go, oh, that doesn't sound good. Well, no, we want to be keeping an eye on that to protect it as you go, because as that starts to decrease, then you're not going to have as much profit to then fund the rest of the business. So it's so important that people are doing this. And I think a good frame can be, if you think about the process that you are running, would it be fit for purpose to put another 100 jobs through it? Because I think what happens for a lot of Kiwi small businesses is we get started, we're one-man band, we're two, we're three, and you sort of, it's all working all good, but will it work all good if it was 10 times or 100 times bigger? And often the answer is, okay, no. So then do we need to put a system in to ensure that it's better? Because how often do we hear from tradies that are scaling, for instance, in the trade space, oh, just juggling all the different jobs, and then then it rains, so then that's got to be moved and this, and they are forced to have some form of system so that people know where they are supposed to be. Not, I might just ring, Barry and find out where I'm supposed to be today. Probably all good with one staff member, but when you start getting to 10 and 13 and beyond, you've got to have processes and systems, and we've seen clients implement calendar type systems where someone can go, okay, that job has been moved, it's now on that date, but I can see it all on my phone. I can input the work that I did do on this job, that's then feeding into the costs that are then mapped towards that job, and they've got it like really well mapped out. But with the way they started their business was basically, we'll go there, do the job, and send them an invoice, and hopefully they pay.
Happy days. Moving on to Profit.
Yep.
I reckon the best system for managing accounting, because that's ultimately what we're talking about, it's got to be a shoebox. Surely.
Shoebox receipts.
You just rock up to your accountant every 2 months. Hey, do my GST return. Here's my bank statements and my receipts.
Yeah,
fill your boots.
Don't even keep your receipts. Just take the bank statement and highlight them.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
No one's going to ask for the receipts.
Nah.
Yeah, just highlight the ones and actually twink out the transactions that you don't want your accountant to see.
Yeah, and if they quiz you on Auckland car parts, that's repairs and maintenance, I believe.
Got to get the Audi fixed every now and then.
Oh, more than every now and again, mate. More than every now and again.
Yeah,
those things are unreliable.
Yeah, I had seen that a lot popping up on our profit and loss.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, I think accounting systems, the main ones that we know of, MYOB and Xero, and I think they do what they say is on the box, and I think outside of accounting, don't use MYOB or Xero. The classic example there would be payroll. For anyone that's got to this far in this podcast or watching on YouTube, as an example, Xero payroll, it's shit. We do not recommend it. Never have, never will. I don't even know why Xero have done it. It might be okay, this is the caveat, if you've got a handful of employees, like a handful, 5, and they're all on salary. Fixed, small team, and it's easy. Where you start having a much bigger team and people with wages and then people that are on part-time and just all the different things, just move on to something else. And we see clients using Smartly, iPayroll, maybe Crystal Payroll. There's a whole heap out there.
Yeah.
And they're good. They do what's on the box, and I think they do the heavy lifting that Xero payroll, by way of example, doesn't do. And I think the support that they offer in terms of payroll queries, because that's the one classic thing. Payroll works completely okay until an employee leaves. And once an employee leaves, how'd you calculate my holiday pay? My final pay is not right. And then you as the employer are now having to deal with all of these queries that you're then going to go to your accountant who doesn't do your payroll, who then has to unpack it for you. And there's not a lot of accountants out there, I don't think, that are actually payroll specialists. They probably think they are, but they're not. And I think that's where something like Smartly, as an example, dedicated support, they run it, they manage it, they pay the team, they pay your taxes, they do your filing. It's freeing up bandwidth, which for you as an employer is what you need, so you can actually work on more important things in your business.
This sounds a little bit rash, but I think some business owners may not want to use payroll intermediaries because they don't actually want to pay their PAYE on time. And the intermediaries suck it out as they go.
Yeah,
so it removes the ability to not pay it on time and use that as a finance arm in the business. Just a tangent there, but
that's a really good observation. And my thing for that would be like tough titties. Like PAYE, I believe as a business owner is non-negotiable. If you cannot pay your PAYE on time, you should not be in business. Full stop. Like GST, I'm quite happy to debate on, and income tax, debate on. PAYE, non-negotiable. If you can't pay that on time, you've got much bigger problems and shouldn't be in business.
Reach out to a liquidation specialist or a accountant to find out, what could be going wrong. Because if you're at that stage, what you're saying is that there will be a problem in your business if you can't pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes my blood boil. But if you are in that position, don't bury your head in the sand. Go and get help. There is help available, but PAYE is probably one of the worst because it carries the most exposure for small and medium-sized business owners as directors because there's personal liability. So go and get it sorted out if you're one of those people.
With the old profit and loss, I think it's something that a business owner in this day and age, they need to learn how to read it. They need
Spot
to
on.
understand it. It's not good enough to go, oh, that's not for me. That I just don't think that cuts it anymore, because you look at some of these people scaling e-commerce businesses, they have to learn the numbers. They have to learn margins. Okay, if we spend this much on marketing, are we going to be able to recover it? How much are we profit and cash do we have tied up in stock? They have to. It's part of the game. And I think a profit and loss is your report card in some ways of how your business is going. A, you need to learn how to read it, and it's not good enough to not learn that. And B, you've got to do that routinely, and monthly is probably enough to get you going. And then you will then become more familiar with looking at it. You don't want to be obsessed by it where you're checking it 3 times a day and after every invoice has been sent out. That's probably overkill. Focus on selling or higher value tasks in your business. But you're going to learn so much more about your business by doing that as well. And okay, the profit is this, but my cash is this. How come that's happening? And you then go and you discover and you learn these things. It can be taught, and all of the information is there. And it's a good way to track your progress and also review different months. I had a client recently where they had a massive September, October, November, and then January. Like, those months have your answers.
Yes.
That has put a great margin. I'm like, why are they so much different to these months? And part of it is because they really lent into themselves, value-based pricing, not thinking scarcely. And so they just basically burnt the boats and like, that's how we're going to do it going forward. And I'm like, well, that is working. Look how much it is showing up on the profit and loss down the bottom in terms of profit compared to the prior months where we're still taking on things that we shouldn't have and doing things out of scope. I'm like, those are exemplary months. And we've got the data to show us, so let's do more of that.
There's secret sauce in there.
Yeah.
Let's go and get more of that secret sauce and spread it on every aspect of that business. The one thing about the P&L that still surprises me, the amount of business owners that have never run one or don't know how to run one. And then if you're using Xero, the business owners that do know how to run a P&L but don't know how to customize it. Because on the point of reviewing a P&L, it's not just printing a report and looking at it. It would be run a report for the month that's just finished and then compare it to the last 6 months or 12 months. And to what Luke's saying, the trends. Where's the stuff that's going really well? Where are the expenses that are out of control? Put the gross profit line in there. We've done content. I'm pretty sure there's a video that I did ages ago, and I can't remember where it is, but we'll be able to dig it out, which shows you how to put gross profit on your P&L in percentage terms rather than dollar terms. So you can see it as a trend and then be able to go, right, where are the good months? Where are the poor months? What went really well on those good months that I can go, how can I replicate that moving forward? And I think first cab off the rank is run the P&L. The second cab would be customize that report to get some data. And the key thing that I just noted down before, on your P&L, be curious. Look at it and go, what does this mean and why? And start and understand it.
We're already at the 30-minute mark. Who would have thought with systems?
Who would have thought? Yeah, man, it's truth.
Any notable mentions to take us out? I've got a couple of extras, but have you got any?
Oh, mate, I've got a few other things. I was going to say GST. If you're doing your own GST, there'll come a time where admin's not a great use of your time as a business owner. You need to outsource it. Don't outsource it to your accountant. Get an admin person or a bookkeeper. They are far better placed, better resourced, and got far more attention to detail at a transactional level than your accountant will, and will be able to add more value as you go. So they should be able to record your asset purchases and your loans and that kind of stuff, rather than your accountant just looking at some transactions, running off a report, sending you a fee for a few $100 and not adding any value. So that'd be one thing. The other one would be the non-financial side of things. Chazza has got an honourable mention from me. The amount of people that I'm having conversations with now that are just referencing ChatGPT and using it, just pay for it. Get a subscription and go, right, let's actually start and invest in AI. It's here, it's not going away, let's use it, which then brings me to my final point around systems and processes and to software in general is like, it's supposed to make your life easy. If there's repetitive tasks or things that you're doing in business and you know that there's a tool out there that will genuinely help, implement it and pay for it. Otherwise, your subscription line on your P&L will just get out of control because you're trying to implement so many things that are going to solve problems. And then like what you were alluding to before, I think with a client story where it's just like, yeah, we've implemented it, spent all of this work, but we're not using it. Hone in on the stuff that's actually going to make a difference in your business and your life because it's supposed to make things easier, and just go out there and crush it.
Yeah, I thought the other one that's never fun to talk about, but once you start hiring people, you probably need some sort of systems around team and those processes, and also HR, and maybe even some HR advice, which you mentioned with subscriptions, which you can just about get on a subscription model. You don't want to be guessing your way through that stuff anymore. Just things that make you more efficient, which you touched on, which is how can you get more time back in your day. So it might be Calendly, for instance, for us, when we're trying to find a time to talk to someone rather than this back and forth. Are you free at this time? And I think as well, the final one for me would be, what do you do with your cash once it comes out of the business? There should be a system for that. And we notice this with our clients that grow, and when they start becoming really profitable, they need to know what that cash is going to be used for by the time it leaves the business. Is it clearing down debt, or is it investing?
Right.
That sort of thing, so that they don't just go, shit, I'm making more money now, this is cool. Okay, but what's the system for that?
Yeah, smart. So for you, that's Heartland Bank.
Straight into it.
Yeah, winner, chicken dinner. The final bonus tip that I would have, if you're implementing system of processes, Google, not Microsoft. Put time back in your day and save butt fucking around with the Microsoft authentication. It's a cluster and it takes up time. Google, it's easy, use it.
Nice. I think as well, track your wins and track your progress. Actually write down and have a look at the progress that you're making in your business. A very good financial example of this, we've got a client who is buying a business, and so their next 5 years, all it is focused on is paying down the debt to then really own it themselves. So if they track their bank account and go, oh, we never really have any money, because you're building up equity, then they're probably tracking the wrong thing. So they have to track what their debt was and then what it is now and reflect, oh, wow, we've got through another month, we've made another payment, great, we own more of this business and the bank owned therefore less of it. And sheesh, we've actually cleared that level of debt, and that is rewarding for them.
And a bonus tip, because I mugged off Xero earlier in the podcast, to get back in favor with Xero, you can customize your dashboard, which people probably won't be appreciating. You can get graphs on there, and you can put your debt as a graph. And over time, you'll be able to see it track down, and you can get another graph, equity, and you'll see it track up.
There we go.
Hey, Xero's doing the heavy lifting.
Well, systems are going to help you run your business better and more profitably and increase the value of that business, so do not ignore them.